Hello, YouTube. This is Lucas, the Prince of Darkness, and I'm going to be reviewing Spider-Man Breakout. I actually read this after I got back from Comic-Con, and I have to say, it's a really interesting story. It takes place actually after an event called Breakout, out where a bunch of villains escaped from the raft, and all different superheroes band together to stop them. One of them being Spider-Man, and Captain America says, "Hey, you all want to join the Avengers? All right." Well, this takes place after the Breakout. You see, well, let's go back a little. Before the Breakout, you see, two groups of supervillains were actually planning to bust out of the vault. One group was the UFOs, a group of four guys, plus a girl, that went into space to get hit by cosmic rays, so they'd have the powers of the Fantastic Four. Unfortunately, it didn't give them the Fantastic Four's powers. It gave them much more bizarre powers. So they became UFOs, essentially becoming the evil version of the Fantastic Four. Now, the other gang is led by a guy named Crossfire, an ex-CIA agent who basically built like mind control technology into the side of his face. And his gang is made up of villains that have mind control abilities, whether it's through gas, as technology, pheromones. That's what they got. They got a lot of mind controllers on their team. And the thing is that they get called into the warden's office where she tells them that they've been outed and that their sentences have been increased. So, you see, they had gotten help from a guard. So, both of the UFOs and Crossfire's gang realized someone double-crossed them. At first, they thought it was one another. So during the breakout out at the raft, they start fighting each other. Then they find out, wait a minute, we were set up. So this becomes a mad race to find the guard who double-crossed them. Meanwhile, Spider-Man, he's getting used to the idea of being on the new Avengers, but he's still not fully on board. He's thinking, nah, I don't want to be an Avenger. Like, I've been in high school before, people bigger and stronger than me. Being on Avengers is no different. We've got heroes that are bigger, stronger, faster, and smarter than me. Hey, why should I be on a team like that? So while he's thinking, nah, I don't need the Avengers, he starts doing his usual hero thing and goes around New York City trying to stop crime. When you know, ironically, the UFOs and Crossfire's gang happen to get into a street brawl in New York City, and Spider-Man just happens to get caught in the middle when he sees he's Mr. Fear and the Controller. Now, the Controller, he's using like these tiny little nanochips that he puts on people's heads to control like an entire crowd of people to attack the UFOs. The UFOs notice this and we're like, we can't kill these people. Because, weird fact, the UFOs don't want to kill anyone. But, yeah, they're trying to just get out of there. Spider-Man shows up and he just starts beating up the Controller and his buddy Mr. Fear. Now, Mr. Fear is pathetic in this series. It turns out that he's not the original Mr. Fear. He's a new Mr. Fear. And he uses a thing, like a gas that brings out your worst fears. Doesn't that sound a little familiar? Well, anyway, he keeps trying to fire his gun at Spider-Man. Spider-Man keeps dodging, and he ends up accidentally shooting the Controller with his gas attack. And the Controller just freaks out, and he falls off the building into a car. He survives, of course, but meanwhile, Mr. Fear gets hit by his own gun, and he starts going just crazy. It's hilarious, and Spider-Man's just cracking the best jokes. Anyway, as this event goes down, we get closer and closer to finding the mysterious guard that double-crossed both of these super dangerous groups. we find out that it was actually the warden who actually snuck down and double-crossed both groups. It turns out she actually has quite a history with Crossfire. Back when Crossfire was still part of the CIA, they had kind of a thing. And that thing was leading up to them getting married in Los Angeles. Las Vegas. But here's the thing. At that exact same moment, he betrayed the CIA, stole technology, and the rest of the CIA actually blamed her for what happened, and they actually assumed that she went rogue. Of course, once Crossfire showed up, then they realized, oh shoot, we got the wrong person here. Sorry, let's make it up to you. You get to be in charge of the vault, and yeah, well, being in charge of the vault, she decides to get revenge on Crossfire. Plus, not only that, she found out that the UFOs had built a device that Crossfire intended to use to get rid of superpowered individuals. Anyone that caused a threat to him, he would just put them in this machine and have them mind so that he could just have their powers removed. That's a pretty genius strategy, except the UFOs actually wanted to use it to get rid of their powers so they could be normal. Because, I mean, one of their members, Vapor, she's made entirely out of mist. I don't blame her if she wants to get rid of her powers. She wants to be a solid person again. That makes sense. Well, anyway, when they were found out, they lost everything that they intended to get out of jail with, including that device. And apparently the female warden, not only did she get away with their money and the device, but she also went under several different aliases to escape ever being found. Of course, in this comic, she gets found and it comes down to Spider-Man to actually save her. Of course, Spider-Man has his own way of finding out who she is after getting some information from the Owl, because the Owl's like, hey, these two supervillain teams are causing a muck in New York City. That's bad business for me. So Spider-Man, take this information, find this lady, and stop this little war they're having. Well, anyway, he finds him, but then Crossfire's gang comes in, and the controller actually manages to slap one of his little control discs on Spider-Man's head, causing Spider-Man to be completely frozen and unable to do anything. And just when all hope seems lost, Spider-Man's phone goes off. Yeah, his cell phone just starts ringing, and Crossfire's like, what? He pulls out his phone and he's like, whose number is this? Who's calling you? And, like, Spider-Man, like, thinking like a boss, he recognizes the number and he comes up with the perfect strategy. He says, it's the warden's father. He was the one who told me to look for her here. And Crossfire's like, her father, eh? Click. Hello? Yeah, I got your daughter here, and I'm going to kill her. And like, he just hangs up. And the sad thing is he didn't wait to hear any response on the phone, because it turns out Captain America was on the other line with Iron Man. Spider-Man tricked him. He basically told Captain America and Iron Man his evil plot. And on their end, and Iron Man's like, what was that? And Cap said, I think Spider-Man needs help. So they come down and they actually help Spider-Man. And ironically, the UFOs show up and it just becomes a gigantic mess. Villains versus villains. And like a few heroes in the mix. It gets crazy, it gets awesome, it's an awesome event. In the end, the day is saved, a few villains get away, but a few others get caught, and Spider-Man finally learns how to work with the Avengers. I'd say it's a great story where it really shows off Spider-Man's reaction to being an Avenger, as well as showing off two teams of supervillains that not many people are familiar with. All in all, I say it's a great story, And if you could ever find it on like paperback or at a Comic-Con, I'd highly recommend you get this series. It's really awesome. It's very it's just really good. It's got a lot of twists and turns. It's a really good story. Well, that's it for today. This is the Prince of Darkness signing off.